Man, we lost William again, so I'll stay in here. Hey guys, welcome to Friday night episode of the Red Rabbit Hole. We'll go over the disclaimer here real quick. I can't do it as good as William is, but we'll keep this rolling until he can come back in. He's having some technical difficulties right now. I'm your co-host, E.D. Testerman, and hopefully my good brother will be. Oh, here looks like he's trying to come back in. But this channel may use copyright materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contains used here falls under the fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, personal use tips the balance in a favor of fair use. Overbuilt, how's it going? William's trying to get back in here, so we'll. Hey, there's my good brother.
Yep. I'm trying. I don't know what's going on with the technology tonight, but man, I'm just going to go ahead and blame it on solar flares.
Yeah, I went ahead and went over your copyright disclaimer for you while we was waiting. Ozzy, David, hello. Good to see you guys.
All right. Well, let's get that off of there then. Okay. As long as you have picture of me and have sound of me, we should be okay. But if we lose it, then we'll just have to redo it another time. I hate to say it, folks, but the internet service here is the worst. Okay. So, that being said, I'm not going to endorse them at all. Let's see. We are going to, tonight, we will sit around the imaginary fire, okay, and talk about the monsters, the legends, and the black magic. Okay, and I'm talking about the legends that were part of our culture since the beginning. Okay. One of those such legends is Spearfinger, and that is one of the Cherokee legends that we will be talking about tonight. Okay. I don't know if everybody out there knows exactly what a Spearfinger is. So I will show you. When it comes to Native American and our black magic ceremonies, most of the indigenous cultures around the world is an evil that has permission to come in. Okay. And just like a demonic possession, basically, of the person being demonically possessed, we as Native people manifest the evil that same way, and we manifest the good that same way. Okay. So with that, keeping that in mind, most of the evil things that we see in Native American culture and legends, okay, like Spearfinger, most of our legends are shapeshifters. Okay. They are tricksters, Iktome, and Shunka, the coyote, there's so many of them that are out there. Ones that walk backwards, ones that wear their clothing backwards. Those are tricksters, okay, and they're very deep embedded within our culture, okay. So I want to make that very clear first. Now, Spearfinger is a legend of a very, very saintly, sweet, innocent little old lady that lived in the woods. Okay. Or so she wants you to believe that that's what she is. Okay. Spearfinger is pure black magic. Okay. Pure evil. basically world. She is a shapeshifter. Okay. She can shift her shape into anything. If she wants to look like Bigfoot, she will look like Bigfoot. If she wants to look like Spearfinger, she'll look like Spearfinger. Any way, shape, form to basically entice the children to leave their parents and their grandparents, come out into the woods with her. Now, what happened when those children were led away, strayed away from their family? They were never seen again. And if they were, they wouldn't have their livers. Yes, I said their livers. Spearfinger is called Spearfinger because when she was cursed, she was made the curse to have her heart on her right hand, okay, which ironically is also where the fingers are that she's had the spears on her fingers, okay, the index fingers, okay. There's a lot of tales about it being one hand or two hands, but the only tales I've heard were the two-handed ones, okay, where she could, get you with both hands. But what she would do with these children is she would eat their livers, and she would use that spear finger while she enticed them into listening to a tale or a story, and she would strike with accuracy and such swiftness that you wouldn't see it coming. Okay, that is the power of the black magic of Spearfinger. She would take that spear of her finger and she would stick it into the children where their liver would be, and she would remove the liver. And sometimes the child would still be alive while the child saw Spearfinger eating their liver. Okay. These shapeshifters are things that my people and all indigenous cultures around the world try to warn outsiders about. Okay. Spearfinger is just one of hundreds, if not thousands, of indigenous legends around the world. Okay. But right here in our own backyard, okay, she's prevalent along the Appalachian Mountains, okay? So if you're in there and you're camping out in the middle of nowhere in the Appalachian Mountains, from Alabama on up into basically Maryland, Pennsylvania, you might want to watch for signs of Spearfinger, okay? Purely evil black magic is the only way to describe Spearfinger. Innocent little old lady, kind of like the Pugwudgie legends, that when the Pugwudgies would come out in the mist and they would try to entice the native people and the children and all that away from their nation, their oyate, okay? Spearfingers are the same thing, Pugwudgies are the same things, okay? They entice the children and the young adults to come out, mirror, mirror, come here, mirror, and they would say it over and over again, and they would entice them, and it would almost be like a hypnotic state. Okay. When Spearfinger struck, she struck with accuracy, and she struck with the most violent action that anybody could do to a child. Okay. But she was pure. Okay. Now we've got the Scatamount, which is also a dark entity. Okay. Now this one here is kind of along the same lines as Spearfinger. It's a black magic type of a thing that the uh, Wabanaki in their legends, it is just a creature. They have no word to describe what it is, how evil it is. Okay. Now this creature is completely malevolent, And again, on the same lines as Spearfinger, she does the same thing. She's going to entice the children away from their parents or their grandparents or whoever's protecting them, and tell them stories and all that. And then she's going to basically devour them. Okay. And the children would never be seen again. Now, these legends, I don't know if Eric, if you have heard of any of these. I'm sure you've heard of Spearfinger.
I've heard a
But,
little bit
you
on
know,
Spearfinger, but not
one
real
thing
familiar with
that
her, but I've heard some.
yeah, what I've been saying from day one is that there are shapeshifters that live amongst us, okay? And there are. You can call them alien, you can call them demonic, you can call them Spearfinger, you can call them whatever you want, okay? The fact of the matter is, this medicine is old black magic medicine, and it's been around a very long time, okay? And the only way to fight black magic is with stronger white magic or light, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Spearfinger had her heart on her right hand, okay? The only way you could even harm her would be to remove that heart and stab it, okay? The best marksman with the bow and the arrow in the Cherokee Nation tried repeatedly to hit that heart on her right hand, on the palm of her right hand, but they couldn't do it, okay? They couldn't do it. And the legend lives today. You know, even today, she's blamed for children turning up missing along the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, and it's one thing that could even be linked to the 411 cases. Okay, it's the shapeshifters. Okay, the evil shapeshifters that live amongst us.
Oh crap! This thing's acting up. You got a question here, brother? Does William know the origins of black magic and white magic, like the beginning of it all?
All right. To make it as easy as possible, to explain it, magic has always been a part of the races, okay? Especially the indigenous races. With you can't have the yin without the yang, okay? You can't have the dark without the light, okay? You can't have two complete opposites have to be present at all times, okay? Now, when it comes to black magic, okay, especially Native American black magic, when we call forth the actual beings or entities that we want to manifest, we have to literally open ourselves up to that manifestation. You know, a part of you. Okay, we do these ceremonies and we call forth on these spirits, and with these spirits, we grant them permission to access us. Okay, even in the skinwalker ceremonies. Okay, you're going to find that it's a demonic type of an evil possession through black magic. Okay. Black magic has been around with Native people since the beginning of dawn. It started basically because the giants, the red haired giants, would steal our fire and the Native people would be cold. So they finally got angry enough to basically get so caught up in the way they felt the anger towards the giants that they manifested. When we talk about dark magic, I'm not saying that they have they had Ouija boards and wands and stuff like that. I'm not talking Harry Potter. Okay, we're talking true magic. Okay, you ask anybody in the Appalachian Mountains about Appalachian witchcraft. Okay, and they will tell you that it's a derivative that came from the Native Americans in the area and their black magic. Okay, along with the Irish, the Hispanic, the Spaniards, you know, French, that all moved within the Appalachian Mountain areas. Okay, they combined the cultures to make their own Appalachian black magic. Okay, now that's the newest form of magic. Okay, but it's been here for a while already. Now, Spearfinger, the reason she would take the livers and eat the livers from the children when she removed them with her spear finger was to keep her being able to rejuvenate and to come back time and time again. That gave them youth. Okay, it gave the shapeshifters youth. Okay, why does Coyote, pull tricks and stuff on people and native people? Well, that's because Coyote is always trying to get to the good things that the people have. Like all dogs do, they're always hungry. Okay, so they never pass down a meal or something to take. Okay, so that's the same with Coyote being a trickster, with Iktomi being a trickster. The spider. You know, same thing. The web is put out. Whatever goes into the web, the spider gets. He tricked out the person out of the object, and the person didn't even see it coming. Okay. Missing people is a big part of a lot of these shapeshifter stories. More than less, the children. Now, I put this out to you guys too in the chat. James, good to see you. Brown Dwarf, good to see you. Woo Rider. Teresa, good to see you. I put this out to you guys. If you ever watched David Pilates, okay, on the 411 missing, a lot of the missing were way out in the middle of nowhere, okay, literally, okay, off the trails. I mean, they found children up on mountaintops that people couldn't climb to, okay. These are the things that we as indigenous people have tried to warn people about for hundreds and hundreds of years, okay, and they don't listen. Okay, Columbus never listened. The Spaniards, never listened. The conquistadors never listened. The British never listened. The French never listened. Yeah, I can go on and on and on with this. It's okay. The fact of the matter is, the native people have had these frightening tales, and this tale of Spearfingers is not just a tale and a myth. This is an actuality. Okay, I know how strong the black magic is. Okay, and I know what it is and what it feels like to have that power coursing through your body.
Yep. All right. Oh. You see something?
Yeah.
Did you see something?
Yeah,
brother?
go ahead. Say what you were going to say.
Oh.
I did see something, but that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've never had the black magic running through me, but I've had enough family members on a certain side of my family that dealt with it. From what I've seen with them, I nothing to do with that crap. I mean, I've seen what it does to people. Nope. You know what's funny? It just dawned on me. Those of you guys who watch me enough know I love Star Wars. Jedi and the Sith. Well, if you stop and think about it, Jedi's the white magic, and they always look good and healthy, where the Sith always gets deformed and they're dark. And if you notice, people who deal a lot with the dark, and the more they get into it, the more that it reshapes them. And I've seen that with my own eyes with my family. It just dawned on me, Jedi and Sith.
Yeah, it changes you. I'll tell you what, I was as a youth growing up and being taught these ceremonies. It wasn't taken lightly, you know. I was was being taught these ceremonies to basically use my life to cause havoc. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to explain it. To grow up being Native American, it's another thing to grow up being Native American and having to be forced into the dark magic by one of your parents. Um, Needless to say, you didn't have much of a childhood. Let's put it that way. Um,
Yeah.
but then again, my closest friends growing up harmed me at all. Um, but I remember doing ceremonies that and giving flesh that children shouldn't be doing. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. What I've
and these are
seen
things that
happen
I
to
was.
my oh, yeah. Oops. Sorry about that, brother. The things I've seen that what happened to my family and what it takes. When you deal with dark magic, um, it don't it don't you don't get nothing from it. It takes from you. Um, it's not. I mean, and
Exactly.
look at all the the dark magic stuff we see in Native American lore alone, not counting all the other religions and races around the world. Look how much they're transformed when used it. I mean, it really, really does hit them hard.
Right.
You got a question, brother?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and it's
pop it up
true.
for you.
Let me put it to you this way. Yes, I hold a lot of resentment. Um, but if I held on to that resentment for too long, it would eat me up, and then the black magic would come back in me, and I don't want that. You know, I
Hmm.
have very little time left in this world, and okay, I want to use what I know and my knowledge, my medicine to help people, and that's what I've been doing these last few years of my life. I help people with skinwalker problems. I help people with pugwudgie problems. I help people with any type of a demonic entity problem, whether it's Native American or whether it's in society in general. um, I go to people's homes and I bless their homes and their properties for them. And I don't ask anything in return. Okay. That's the thing of it. In order for it to be good, it's got to come from here. Okay. Not here. All right. Here's what the problem is with mankind right here. Okay. It's called a brain. Okay. And a lot of times we don't use it to the full potential that we have. A lot of us, myself, were misguided as young. Okay, when we were young, we were taught things that children shouldn't have been taught. We had seen ceremonies that children shouldn't have seen, um, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Okay, but what I want to do with my remainder of time is promote a basic knowledge of these legends. Okay, because if people start realizing that there are legends, like the Natamunkenwet, okay, that's another one. Okay, that is one that is very, very malevolent, reminiscent of a male mermaid. And basically, this one ties right into the 411 missing cases. Okay, it's like a demonic male mermaid. Okay, and what it does is it entices the women and the children to come to the water's edge. Come here, just like the Pugwudgie say, come here, mirror, mirror. Okay, just like the Scatamuch and the Spearfinger. They all are doing that. Okay, they're all shapeshifters. Okay, And we can even go so far as to say some of them might even be elementals in nature, okay? Like the male mermaid, okay? Calling the people to the water's edge and basically getting them and taking them to their death, whether it's a child, male or female, or whether it's the women that are on their own going to the water's edge to collect water. I mean, there was all kinds of things like this in the days, you know, before Columbus. And then when Columbus and everybody else started coming here from Europe and Asia, they thought that they were big and bad and thought that they could handle all the things out there in the dark forest in North America, and they couldn't. Okay, they couldn't, because the evil that was invested within the land, the spear fingers that are within the land, the Scatterjama, which were in the land, the Pugwudgies, which are in the land, those forces are basically probably the reason why there were so many wars fought here in the early days of this country. Okay, if you think about it, all that malevolent evil energy is going to exist, and it's going to heighten men's anger and men's jealousy and men's frustration and cause them to war. Okay, that was another thing with these shapeshifters. Okay, these tricksters especially were very good at this. Okay, tricksters especially would say, it's like whispering something in one warrior's ear and telling them something that the other warrior said. Hey, he said this about you, and da 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 da, da, you know, and instigating it. Okay, that's what a shapeshifter trickster does. Okay, they love the chaos. They love the blood. Whenever I gave, you know, flesh for ceremonies and stuff in the energy level of of my being, my essence would, like, from like a 5 to a plus 15, okay, to like a plus 15, 20, you know, it's not good. That energy comes from what the ground we walk on. That energy comes from these shape-shifting tricksters that are within our environment, okay? And like I said, I wouldn't be afraid to bet my last dollar that the 411 missing people that are missing around the water is because of these shape-shifting beings. Okay, that's what they do. That's how they persist. Okay, and the same with black magic. Okay, the same with anything as far as black magic goes. When you take an innocent life, you know, whether it's an animal or whether it's a person, you sacrifice that individual or that animal to make you stronger, okay, and to bring forth the evil. Now, with that evil comes great risk, because sometimes these beings, it's well, take for instance like the Rougarou, okay, take for instance that curse, okay, and it is a curse. The only way you can stop from being a Rougarou when a witch casts that spell on you is by getting somebody in your family that knows you to cut you with a bladed knife, okay, and make you bleed. And that's supposed to make the evil entity leave your body, okay? Now, there's several, almost every Native American evil legends that we pass down to our children is literally the end all for the evil entity is to have their blood drawn, okay, either from, you know, a bladed weapon or from an arrow piercing the heart, or from an arrow, you know, piercing, you know, in a certain part of the body that where their heart is hidden. There was a legend too that basically there was this shape-shifting entity that would come in the form of like a half deer and half human type of a being. Okay, now this deer, this buck would have his heart in his left leg. Okay, so it wasn't like anybody would shoot an arrow at his chest and hit him in the chest that was a chest of a man where you think the heart would be. It didn't do anything. Okay, there was a shape shifting entity in a um, small lake in South Dakota, and years ago, and this story was told to me by my father, and it was said to change into a snake and a giant snake, and it lived within the swamp. And basically, one day, a young warrior tried to prove himself to the young maidens that he was a brave man and that he was worth pursuing. There was this old witch that lived up on the cliff top, and he went to her and she tried to trick him. She tried to entice him into coming in to her lair, okay, with the charms of a beautiful young lady. Okay, when this being got within visual sight of this young brave, the young brave got close to her, and he literally pulled out a knife and held it to her throat, and he goes, "Old woman, you're going to help me or I'm going to kill you." Now, little did he know that where he held the knife was where her heart was. Okay, so she gave in to him and she said, "Well, what do you ask?" And he said, "Well, I want you to bless 3 of my arrows because I'm going to go down and kill the monster that's down there." And he did. She did. She granted him and blessed his arrows that they would pierce anything and kill whatever they hit. But she also told him there is only one spot on that creature that you can hit that is about 3 by 3 inches. She didn't say inches because they didn't have it back then, but she showed them in size, about that size of an area to shoot the arrow into. So he goes down there and he takes one of the arrows and he pulls it back, and the other 2 are in his quiver, and he's waiting for that beast to show up, and he hears it. All of a sudden, the beast is behind him, and the beast knocks him off into the water, and he drops the arrow. Okay, so the arrow's gone. So the beast slithers around like a big giant snake and hides and goes in and out and starts teasing the young brave. And finally, the young brave had enough gumption to actually watch. Whenever he raised up his head, there would be a little diamond area where his heart was on this beast. Okay, and he would pull the bow back and he shot that blessed arrow, and it went right through into the heart of that beast, and it killed the beast. Now, that's the thing. The majority of these Native American shape-shifting entities, these legends, all say, 99% of them say, you have to stab it within the heart. But you have to know where the heart is. That's the thing. You have to know where the heart is. Now, have you ever heard of any legends like that, Eric?
Actually, I remember that, and that's funny because you remember when I was doing my live a little bit ago when I was working on my book, we was talking about that movie Dream Keepers. That legend's actually in that book, in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like they
that's a true legend.
yeah, That's why I was sitting there when you said that. I was like, I remember that. Yes, that was a very good one. Um, I mean, and there's so many legends out there. I mean, look at your, I've told this story many times on your show. About the two brothers who went hunting and were successful and came across an old man in the woods, and the old man asked them for some food, and the brothers were like, "Yeah, we got plenty of fruit, grandfather. Here, have some." And they gave him some food, and he was so thankful that he gave him that they gave him food that he blessed him with the gift of the wolf to make him a more successful hunter. Um, and originally, they can transform into a regular wolf, but one brother started using it for the wrong reasons, and eventually he done it so much that it forever changed him in what we nowadays call a dog man. But transformed him in that shape, and he can never return back to human form. So I mean, there's another thing that you can even get blessings from something and do it wrong, do it for a wrong reason, a dark reason, and it'll forever change you. Um, and you're forever. I mean, the brother can never go back to human form. Um, I'm trying to think of another one off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've recalled some of these. Um, I mean, heck, the Wendigo is another good one. I mean, that's another good one there. I mean, people misunderstand what it is nowadays, and I think they cross reference that buck that you was talking about with what a Wendigo is. Um,
Right.
that's another one. Hard to kill him. You got to have the right circumstances, the right things, and depending on who's telling you the story, depends on how you kill them too. Which, if you look at throughout all races throughout the world,
Yeah.
they all have similar supernatural entities like that. I mean, it's all over, and they each have their different ways of getting rid of that entity. Um, let's see, what's another good one that I can think of?
Right.
Um, man, oh, I forgot the name of the dang thing. It's a dark dark medicine man. He's a man, but he does a lot of dark magic. Um, oh my gosh, he lives out in the woods alone, and people sometimes come to him for curses. Um, oh, what am I thinking of? Well, I mean, he's still technically a man, so I guess I wouldn't count on this one. Actually, now that I think about it, but you got the mimic, the other one, not the Wendigo, but the other mimic.
Well, how about
Oh,
the Wanaji?
Banaji. Oh, that one sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember that one. Wanaji. Is that's not the
Wanaji are
dark
the
medicine?
evil goat.
Oh,
No, that's the evil goats. Yeah, they're the ones. They're the spirits that are evil, basically the demonic that is in charge. The evil being that is in charge of them. And what they do is they will be the ones that usually with Native American tales, they would be the ones to send the owls out to sit on people's windowsills, that are Native American that are off the reservation, and it would basically mean an omen of death, an omen
mm-hmm.
that would bring either death to the person that sees it and hears it, or death to someone that individual knows, whether it be a family
Yeah.
member or a friend. And I have to be honest with you too. I've heard owls dozens of times out in the wild, and needless to say, to come back home and find out certain somebody died that I knew. And that's one of the teachings. That's just one of the teachings, being Native American.
Yeah.
We need to start embracing stories and these legends of long ago, and all these shapeshifters and stuff. I've told people time and time again that there are shapeshifters, and if they don't want to believe me now, they'll believe me when they see it, because it's going to come to basically a peak of all this evil energy and stuff that's in the world right now. Okay, it's going to peak, and when it peaks, people are going to start seeing a lot more than what they're used to. They're going to see things that are going to frighten them. So,
yeah, and it's interesting.
I don't know how much plainer I can make it. That yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
Actually, a lot of a lot of Druids didn't live in the forest.
Yeah, their spirituality, their religion is based around the forest, and a lot of their practices are done in the forest.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, they lived in the village the same as everybody else. Now, some did live in the village,
right? Exactly.
But they're. Go ahead. We got a lag, so it's kind of.
Now, do you want to know why I tell people? Yeah, one of the reasons I tell people when they go out Bigfoot searching and stuff, I hate the word hunting, okay, because you're not going to hunt something that doesn't want to be hunted, okay. I'm sorry, but that's just the way that being is. They like to be left alone, so leave them alone, okay. But one thing about Bigfoot is he knows what you're thinking and what you want to do before you know what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. So that kind of a way of existence is like being a holy man, okay, being a medicine man, a Wachashawakan. You take that Pejuta Wakan, that sacred medicine, and you stay in practice, and you stay within your means of existence, and your power is only going to grow. And with that comes all other additional gifts that you're given. That's why I've always said, whenever they did this technology, thing, and brought forth the computers and the TVs and the cell phones and all that, that's all man's downfall. That took man from spending time out in the woods hunting and gathering and living off the land and getting along and knowing and having an intimate connection to the land, okay, and the animals upon the land, all right, to now they have an intimate connection with their cell phones and their computers, and it's not the way it's supposed to be. We lost that, okay. We need to get that back, okay. We need to start realizing a lot of these old legends had meaning to them, okay, irregardless of whether you think they were true or not, okay. These legends were given for a reason, okay, and that was to teach the young ones, the little ones, to where not to go and what not to do, and and how not to behave. These legends, every legend out there is based 50% in fact, okay. So all I can tell you is from my interactions with the dark magic and all that, and with doing a lot of the ceremonies and stuff, that it's not a good thing, okay. Sooner or later it's going to either take you completely over, and there won't be a remnant part of you left, or you're going to completely pull away from it and immerse yourself in some good light magic. Okay. Whether it's whether it's a religious belief or not, you know, that pulls you away from it, that's fine. But you got to understand one thing. If you are and have dealt with the black magic, okay, especially the Native American aspect of it, all right, you have to understand that you are still an open source. Okay. You are something that if the trickster can trick you in a little way to knock you off your balance and make you get angry, that's the opening. That's the opening that they need. Okay. And the same goes for these shapeshifters. You know, they can laugh and mock you all they want, but there are literally thousands of shapeshifters walking around us every day. Okay. And we don't even know it. Okay. I mean, at least with the reptilian, which, you know, they can make us see things like they're human and not a reptilian, which is ironic because with them it's more of a feeling you get, and it's more of a sense of an earthen smell, a musky type of a smell when they're around. Okay. So,
Yeah.
in fact, that's probably true with most native legends. They have a musky smell to them, and that is because they are more immersed within the environment than we are anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
You know, I mean, I agree. I mean, and if you actually study a lot of the, you know, and even we'll just do Native American religions alone, you'll see a lot of similarities throughout the world of all different cultures and how they're same. You know, you was talking about the owl being the omen of death earlier. You know, people don't know a story about how the owl was created. You know, there was an evil spirit that thought he was the same as the great creator, possibly even more powerful than the great creator. And to prove that he was, he created a bird that made no sound when he flew, which was the owl, because the raven is one of the most powerful birds out there. He's the messenger to the great spirit. So he wanted to prove that he could do the same, and he created this owl or this bird that would fly and was just as powerful as a raven, and he created the owl. And I can tell you firsthand because I've seen it multiple times, especially in a deer stand. When an owl flies in front of you, you can't hear it flap its wings. It has no sound. So you got to learn these stories. You know, the story of mosquitoes. You know, there was a bear, and the Great Spirit told the hunters never shoot this bear. One day the hunters went up and they found this bear and they shot him. And when they went to cook him, his flesh turned into mosquitoes, and that's why we have mosquitoes that bite upon you. I mean, there's stories all over about this stuff, and if you don't immerse yourself into them and learn them, you don't know where the origins of things come from. You don't know the power behind them. You don't know, you know, like we used to talk with the animals and stuff back in the days, you know, long ago, and we've lost that connection with speaking with them. You know, the same as Sasquatch. We spoke
True.
with them. We
True.
warred
Very
with
true.
them. We traded with them. I mean, things have changed through time. And now a lot of Native Americans tell you a lot of that changed when white man came. That's possible. I can't dispute that fact. I don't know. I wasn't there during that time. But it makes a lot of sense of why things have changed because we have gotten away from technology. You and I are always talking about we got to get back into nature. Not only has technology taken us away from nature, but technology has taken us away from the human connection with between one another as well. Look how many relationships are destroyed by technology. Look how many relationships are started by technology. You can't feel the emotion of another person or heal their emotion from another person through technology. You can't get their vibe. You can't get none of that stuff through technology. So it's killed a lot of things, you know.
Exactly.
We need we need to use it for good, in which we are using this for good, true. But like I tell people often, I don't live on my phone. I don't live on my computer. Do I do shows? Do I do books? Produce books. Yes, I use technology to do research and shows and write books. But I'm not on this thing 24/7. I have a job. I have
You know what?
woods that I go out in. Mhm.
you, you, you know the one thing that that these some of these legends actually meant to teach the young ones was to teach the young children never to judge somebody by their appearance or by their mannerisms. You know, that you
Mhm.
always have to be cautious and always have to be on your guard and, look at the world that way too. Okay. It's like I always, say question everything. Well, you should question
Yeah.
everything. Okay. Because when it comes a time when you don't, is the time when evil's going to try and sneak in and do their damage. Okay. And evil will.
Hmm.
Okay. Evil will not give up. They won't. Okay. And if
Yeah.
they see the slightest opening, they're going to take it. Okay. Whether it's your uncle or whether it's your aunt or whether it's your cousin, that uh, they're gonna weasel their way in one way or another. They're gonna turn family members against family members. Okay. And tribal members against tribal members. Okay. That's what they do. They're chaos.
Yeah.
Okay. They're all chaos. All right. Rage incarnate is what it is. All right. Pure evil. Purest black magic you could ever think of. Okay. And, it's just funny how a lot of these legends, and I've said this time and time again, if the missing 411 investigations would correlate some of their missing people with some of these legends and the locations, I bet you they would basically be amazed at the correlation that a lot of these legends have. We
Actually, I
have
think I
we have
have
spirit.
pictures of that.
Yeah, we have spirits and sprites and all that, and elementals that live within granite boulders. And I
Hmm.
know for a fact that there are missing people around granite boulders. We have
Hmm.
elementals and evil entities in water. And by God, over half of the instances, if not three-quarters of them, are by bodies of water. Okay.
Hmm.
They need to they need to focus on some of the old legends because some of these old legends can prove without a shadow of a doubt that these legends are real and that these people are missing because of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
We
and I've
we
done
got
that
about
on my. You got a question there, brother? I put it up for you.
yeah, we got about 2 minutes now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Um, yeah. So I mean, that's something to think about, and that's why we do a lot of these shows, folks. Is you need to learn this stuff, and that's why I put a lot of history in it, different kinds of history of whatever we talk about, and I think it's important because we need to learn it from all over the world as well. So I mean, it's something to think about when your guys are doing that stuff, and I'll try
Yeah.
to send these pictures when I find them to you, brother. But I've got an overlay of kind of that stuff too, with all different kinds of
We
cryptids.
Rider, the thing of it is sometimes your fight is going to be physical. Okay.
Hmm.
Sometimes, and majority of the times, it's going to feel like you've gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Okay. And you're missing an ear. All right. But that's just the way of it. Okay. As long as you stand strong in your faith, okay, and you persevere, whether you believe in Yeshua or whether you believe in Wankantanka, whether you believe in, you know, Buddha, it doesn't matter. You stand strong in your faith, and your faith will set you free from the evil. Okay. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. Okay. So, anyways, on that note, I got about a minute and I can end this. Okay. So, check us out tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Okay. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. And I guess with that, I'm going to say good night to everybody. And thank you for
Peace
being
and love and
here.
blessings.
Share this out if you can. Like it and share it, and subscribe if you can. And just help us support the channel and get the word out. Okay. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's been here in the chat. And remember, when you're out in the dark and the stuff starts bumping around in the dark, at least if you listen to some of these tales, you might know what's in the dark and how to deal with it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and close it out. And I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody.